My name is Adriana, and this is Many Roads, No Rules. I don't plan ahead what road I will take next, because I want those roads to find me, so I find myself. Please join me on this new adventure. Hello. I am having such a lazy day, you have no idea. I am working inside of the van because I am in the desert and the wind is really tough today, and beautiful day, but super windy. So I am going to show you today, you remember my friend Deb? She had that Prius limo. So she switched because the limo was not giving her everything she needed. So she now has a Kia Sorrento, and today she shows us the new Kia and the tent she has, because now as a USV dweller she needs a tent as a sort of a living room, or I don't know, playroom, whatever you prefer to call it. She has a beautiful tent. She has some techniques that she's going to show us on how to do laundry. Amazing. So please stay with us and let's go for that video.
Yes. So this is the 2016 Kia Sorrento. And I permanently leave the 2/3 seat down as my sleeping area.
Also, the other seat is up.
Yep. And I took down the
headrest?
The headrest for this and for this, just to have a little bit more room. There will be, when I pack up my tent, it's going to sit here while I'm sleeping, while I'm driving, or here when I'm not sleeping.
Perfect. And so I see you have an organizer there behind the passenger seat.
Yeah.
No, there. Back there.
Oh, here. Yes, yes. So that's everyday stuff.
That is your nightstand.
Yeah, that's my nightstand. My comb, my toothbrush, my lotions, various and sundry beauty products. A little garbage can.
Yep.
Pack of playing cards,
There you go.
all the required stuff.
You have to be ready.
Yep.
And here you have clothes, and you do have absolutely everything you own.
Yes.
Here.
Everything is
You're
in
a
here.
true nomad.
I am. There's
Full
nothing
time.
in storage anywhere.
Nice.
It's all right here.
Pay for storage.
Yeah.
To store
Well,
objects.
they just haven't gotten there yet. And maybe they're
Right.
thinking, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not.
That is a very good point.
I get it, but it's so freeing
Yeah.
not to have extra stuff. So if you can do it, just bite the bullet and
There you go.
get rid of your stuff.
So, and how is your bed built?
I have a 4-inch high density foam mattress, which I put on the floor at Joann's and tried out the various thicknesses. And 4 inches seemed to be in the mid-range. I could have gotten 5, but I'm assuming this eventually over time will start to compress and I'll need to replace it. So maybe I'll try 5 later.
Right.
And then
It's working.
Oh yeah, it's so much more comfortable than anything else I've ever slept on. And I've got various layers.
Ooh.
This is these are all throws, so they fit nicely in here.
But I see you have wool, you have
Yes.
pussy.
Yes. And then I've got a alpaca and wool blanket here, a couple
Nice.
pillows, and then this.
Yeah, because in the desert, in
It's
winter,
cold.
It gets cold.
Yeah. And driving down here from Washington, I stayed overnight in Medford, Oregon, and it was down to like 27.
Ooh.
And there was frost and ice on the windshield when I got up. So you got to be prepared. But once you crawl inside, it's fine.
And as we discussed, you can have the clothes you're going to use
Yes.
to wear the next day.
Stuff them in.
protect
Stuff 'em in.
him with you so
Yeah.
it doesn't get painful to get dressed in the morning.
Yeah, and then otherwise I have the clothes that I will likely wear in the next 2 or 3 days in this compression bag, I guess it is. There's all kinds of zippers on here. I don't even understand what some of them are for. That stays here. Underneath that is my...
Let me switch to the other side
Yeah,
so we can see.
yeah.
Or maybe you can point at those things.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's my clothes. This is a bag for my tablet. Underneath that is a hard-sided tub for mostly for my butane canisters, just to protect them, and then other stuff that I don't use very often. This is my gas one butane stove and various flat things
that you use as trays.
Yeah, yeah. And then I can come around and show the other stuff there. On top of the cubby, I've got this collapsible thing that you would ordinarily hang vertically in a closet. And I've got stuff that I use all the time, like what stuff I'm reading, backup food bags, my camp stove, lots of Ziploc bags. These are what I use for my windows.
And I noticed you use a lot of those reflectors
Yes.
for the windows, which is very important to keep the van from getting excessively hot.
Exactly. So some of these are just reflective and some of them are black on the other side. And part of my history with the limo was trying to find or create Reflectix window coverings that would fit. Mm-hmm. And so frustrating. So I decided to just go with these, even though they may not have the Reflectix insulation quality. They still either reflect the sun or block out intruding eyes. And like we said, once you're inside your bed, that's all you really need to worry about, keeping warm. Yep. They're the kind with the little magnets in there.
Very practical.
So they fold up really nicely and tuck into each of the windows, so I might keep them.
Very good.
Leave that out here. So this is my food pantry. I travel with a lot of freeze-dried vegetables, and I make veggie curry every day, and that's what's in these camouflaged Christmas cookie tins. I have 4 of them here. And then backup food I also make a concoction with yogurt and Ezekiel cereal and flaxseed and cinnamon and dark chocolate and pecans.
There you go. But how do you preserve the yogurt, for example?
I buy individual containers, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, because I chose not to have cooling of any kind. And that was pretty much after I watched a video of various people who don't have any cooling at all, how freeing it is for them to not have to worry about buying ice or having the room taken up by a refrigerator. And again, that's one of those priorities or criteria that everybody has to decide what works best for them.
Absolutely.
So this is a little...
Yogurt is a good thing, so how can someone without a cooler still have yogurt?
Oh, totally doable. Totally doable. I've got cheese in here. I bought a salad yesterday that I ate half of. And then...
So you put ice on that?
Nope.
How does it work?
I just leave it like this and then...
Oh, because it preserves the cold
yes,
the food already has.
Yes. And the upper, or the floor on the right passenger side is typically one of the coolest spots in the car. So I try to keep all the food there as much as possible. I've got a bag of apples here. And then I do have a very small tub of like envelopes of brown rice, that kind of stuff. Non-perishables. Cool. Yeah, and there's lots of foods that we've been convinced that we need to refrigerate and that we don't. Right. So, and I just don't buy the other stuff, or I'll just eat it right away. Good. Yes, I drove from Minneapolis to Portland, Oregon, and then Portland to Quartzsite in the last 2 months. And I'll be driving back up to Washington State after the RTRs.
And you volunteered for the RTRs.
Yep.
So exciting.
Excited about that.
Yes.
Coming up this weekend. Yeah, we have an orientation, and then the women's RTR starts on Friday, which I'll attend because I've never done that. And then I decided that I could volunteer for the RTR because it's kind of repetitious from what we'll be learning anyway. Sure. And yeah, it'll just be fun. Like I said before, downsize a little bit, but not much. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I already had that little bit of practice to have a clue of what to keep, what to change.
And so that is a bucket.
It is. This is my reading area, my bathroom, my everything. This is a 2-gallon bucket with a gamma lid, which does a really good job of containing odors. And I use double duty bags. I mean, not always, but that's what I'm using right now. They're very easy to dispose of. And then at night, or when I'm not able to get out of my car, this is my pee bottle. And then I like to stay at truck stops while I'm driving, and I'll put this pee bottle into this backpack, and I've got a little container of vodka that I use as a cleanser and sanitizer, and I'll do all of that in the restroom in the truck stop. Perfect. So that works really well.
Do you mind showing us a little bit of the bag you have
over here
in the toilet?
Oh yeah. So I keep one kind of ready. This is the outside, the silver, and then the inside. And it's got the gel sand or whatever.
Yeah, that makes a jello out of everything.
It absorbs the liquid. So this, I've never thought about getting a cushioned seat for because it just works.
It's a moment.
Yep.
And say, how many times can you go before you have to change the bag? I understand it's...
Well, I suppose you could do 2 or 3, just depending, obviously, how much volume you have. I've never really thought about that. I've just always changed it after one.
We will leave it open to comments to see if other people are using them.
Yeah,
what they say. But yeah, it's very cool. So the lid doesn't allow for odors to come out.
Right. It's very well engineered.
Seal.
Yes, gamma lid.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then there's my spray cleaner bottles with half vodka, half water, and then one that's just water. I filter my water with a Life Straw bag, gravity fed. That stays here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, Deb, as always. I do understand you're not using the same window covers you had for the limo.
Especially because, it's hard to see, but the window in the hatchback, it's only like 18 inches wide by 4 feet longish. So it's an interesting dimensions, and also the ins and outs of how it's in there. So covering it was difficult. But today I bought some safety pins, and I've permanently anchored one end here with safety pins, and now at night, and I make it...
Is that felt?
This is felt. It's 4 feet by 3 feet maybe, and it's very thick, so there's no light getting through it. I've had it for a long time. I almost got rid of it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, no, I'll use it for something. So I have safety pins there, and at night I'll take that end down, and it'll come this way and cover the window. Now, I'm sure at some point I'm going to get tired of doing that every night, and I'll come up with something else. That's for the front. Those are the remaining Reflectics, just because they were relatively the same shape as with the limo, so I just kind of reworked them a little bit. And then that's my rain gear and my lights, and where I keep my gloves so I know where they are. I love everything else about it. It's a pop-up. It's very easy to set up for one woman, especially. you just pop out the sides, push up the top. There is a separate rain fly included. And I know a lot of clamshell-y type tents, you have to get these coverings or inserts separately, but these come with. There's mosquito netting and then the protective all the way around. And
right, I was going to say, if you open this, you have windows on all faces
yes.
of the tent.
So if I have no neighbors, I could undo everything.
Beautiful.
And then over here, I have I believe it's 14 by 10 piece of aluminate, which I learned about from Bob Wells, of course. It's fabulous for blocking the heat in direct sun. So right now the sun is behind me, and I have the entire roof as well as this wall and a little bit of this one covered. And if it were high season, I would follow the sun during the day and shift it around. But right now it's fine.
So it prevents it from getting too hot.
It makes a huge difference. Even today, even if it's only, what is it, 60, 65? Like if I didn't have this on, it would be too hot in here.
And it is super windy outside.
So this is great to have.
It's very comfortable in here.
Yeah.
So you did wash your hair today.
I did. So I have my handy dandy IKEA tray, and then I heat up water on my butane stove, pour it in my doggy dish, soap up and rinse out in there, and then I put the gray water in my scrubber, which is what I'm going to use to do my laundry here in a bit. And I've tried this before. It works really great. It only takes a little bit of water depending on how many clothes you're putting in. You can't do a ton, but I don't have a ton. So it tells you the water levels for how many pieces of clothing you're going to use. And I use soap berries, soap nuts for the saponin, and it's inside a mesh bag. So every, I don't know, whenever these start turning white, like right now, I replace them and then just throw it in the bag along with the water and the clothes.
So that is your dark water.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then
that is your gray water
from washing my hair. Yeah.
Washing your hair.
So it says put in the water, the suds, and the clothes, and then it's like a dry bag. So I'll seal it, roll it down as much as I can, push out the air, and then this is an air release. Then seal it, and then spend between 30 seconds and 3 minutes rotating this on a hard surface. And maybe you can see this.
Yep.
On the inside, there are little protrusions that provide the agitation.
Little fingers.
Yeah, like it would in a washing machine or on a washboard, because it's all about the agitation. It doesn't matter about soap. And then you rinse and dry. And then I have a clothesline ready to go here that I'll string up when we're done.
So are you going to do that now?
Yeah.
Can we see it?
Sure. So this is pretty full. Put the soap nuts towards the bottom. And all I have in here is one shirt, several pairs of underwear, some socks, and some little no, they're like wipes. I use them for my face, but they're linen, so I can recycle them instead of buying disposable wipes. So that's all that's in here. And I need to fill the water up to here. It's probably only up to here right now. So and this is a 2.7 gallon collapsible water jug. And a little bit. So now, make sure I'm going in the right order here. Roll and clip. Okay. So like I said before, any dry, wet bag. Just roll. I can't remember if there's a bigger or a smaller size than this one. I don't remember. There we go. So I'm going to try to get as much of this out of here before I clip it.
Very cool.
Okay. Okay. Twist and now rub. I'll go this way. And when I get tired, I'll stop. Here, let's set a
I
timer.
can imagine you living in, I don't know, 400, 500 years ago and doing this by the river.
Exactly.
Only thing is you don't have a river in the desert. So you're going
Indeed. Stopwatch. Here we go. Okay. And it's not leaking.
And you got this one out of Amazon?
I'm pretty sure. They might have a direct website. I believe it's an Australian product. And then what I really like about it is once it's dry and everything and you're done, it folds down next to nothing.
So would you like to, while you do that, would you like to tell us what happened to the limo?
Yeah, the limo. Ugh, I miss that thing. So I drove it all.
The scratchy thing, right?
Well, yeah, there were a couple things. Priuses are low to the ground, and if you've got more length, it's easier to scratch or gouge. It sounded like gouging or felt like gouging whenever it happened. Because there's so much more expanse, it's easier to gouge the bottom of the vehicle. And then...
So that doesn't make it very convenient for boondocking?
No, not at all. Like even where we are right now, I don't think I could have gotten up and over the drive into where we are. So that's no fun. And then I drove it all the way down to New Mexico and then up to Washington State and back to Minnesota without incident. And then a couple days later, in my driveway, there was gray smoke coming from the engine area, and then it just died.
Oh my God.
And trying to find somebody who was willing to work on it, which was easier than finding a garage who wouldn't be afraid of putting it up on a hoist if they needed to, which probably they wouldn't have at that point. But it was only 18 feet and pickups are longer than that.
Yep.
So I just didn't need that stress of being out on the road and, you know, something happening out on the highway with a town 2 hours away.
Yeah, the point is, I mean, anything can happen to any of us when we drive vehicles.
Indeed.
But with a regular vehicle, you go to any mechanic.
Yes.
And they help you. But with that one particular vehicle, it's not that easy to find someone who wants to help.
Who's willing, yeah. I mean, it's the guy who built it, of course, he was like, well, just do this and this and this. And okay, sure. And if I'd owned it longer and had somebody to walk me through the ropes of learning all that stuff, great. But I just don't need that stress. So I ended up with 2016 Kia Sorrento SUV instead.
And I think it's a little longer than the regular Kia Sorrento. I'm not sure.
I don't know. It could be. It's 15 and a half feet long as opposed to the 18 feet. So I did lose a little length, but as you'll see in the rest of the video, I have a basement and there's lots of room in there. So, and it's a V6, which I've never owned before. It's like, oh, she can go anywhere. So I really like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and you do have your tent and
yes,
your
and
bed, everything.
This is, you know, a house compared to being inside a vehicle. It's not a minivan. I can't move around in the SUV as easily as I could have in the limo or in a minivan. But once this gets set up, it's been a game changer.
Perfect.
Yep.
So now what do you do with your laundry?
So now...
That was really short.
Yeah, and it was like, I did it for 4 minutes because we were talking. So now I empty the gray water, fill it up, and rinse it, and then hang the clothes up to dry. And that's it. Easy peasy. And because I use the soap berries, soap nuts, whatever you want to call them, I don't have to worry so much about, oh, am I getting everything out? Because
so you don't need to change water those many times.
No.
Just one time is enough.
Yep.
It is natural.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have clean clothes. All right. It's good enough.
Very good.
And
I can't believe you did laundry in less than 6 minutes. Right?
yeah. And then I'll dump this out and I'll extend this clothesline. And the last time I did this, I remember that I didn't have enough clothespins, so I'm hoping I got extra ones.
Take the time to dig deep underneath this red heat. We could really meet